I'm here with Steve Grant, longtime news anchor for KY3 TV in Springfield, Missouri, one of the leading NBC affiliates in the nation. Thank you, Steve, for joining us today.
Delighted to be with you, Brian. You can include me as one of the leading Buechner fans here in the Missouri Ozarks, too, if you want.
Well, excellent. Thank you for that. As you know, Mr. Buechner will soon be turning 90 years old. Is there anything you would like to wish him on this great milestone?
Well, to Fred Buechner, the best birthday blessings ever. Whatever brings you joy, Fred, may it come in abundance, land in your lap every day, because you are a national treasure. And I can't think of anyone else that I could say that about.
Well, thank you very much, Steve. I'm sure Mr. Buechner will greatly appreciate hearing from you. Can you tell me how you first learned about his work?
A friend of mine after college mentioned he had read The Room Called Remember. So the next time I was in the bookstore and saw it, I bought it, put it on the shelf, and promptly forgot about it. He reminded me again about how impressive Fred's writing was when he landed at Candler Seminary at Emory University, and Barbara Brown Taylor was his advisor. So it's been love Fred's reading and writing ever since.
That's wonderful. What would you say most attracts you to his work?
Well, I think it's Fred's transparency. You know, those of us who read after certain authors continuously, I think we feel like they know us, or they can take us to a place that would be familiar to us and show us new things, or send us in a new direction in our spiritual journey, or help us make some difficult steps that maybe that we hadn't pondered before, or seen a way to get to. And I think that's what I like about him. It's kind of like he's been spying on me, hasn't he? That he just touches lives with that deep honesty that he has, and is able to convey a sense of grace in so many things that a lot of people who are trying to, let's say, work through the illusions of spirituality or church life need a little help with from time to time, as well as inspiration and empowerment.
How would you say that Mr. Buechner's work has influenced your life?
Well, certainly, I think he's raised my awareness on a regular basis that we are loved by God as we are and not as we should be, that all is grace in this life, and that we breathe it in and out every day. And I think also in Fred's writing, Brian, he shows us ways and shows us circumstances and those mileposts in life where we can also become more gracious or full of grace for the situations that and people that we encounter day to day and year to year.
You mentioned A Room Called Remember. Which of Mr. Buechner's books would you say mean the most to you?
Well, the one that means the most to me is Secrets in the Dark, which he autographed. And I took that with me on vacation. And we're on, the Emerald Coast of Florida, and I kept getting yelled at to, come out here and get in the water. And I was just sitting in the beach chair reading this book because I couldn't put it down. And I remember smiling and laughing and tears running down my face. And it's kind of like, he gets it. Buechner just gets it. And why didn't I find him sooner? So it's still the one that I turn to and look for when I need a little dose of Buechner.
Well, it's interesting. Everyone has their own favorite Buechner book, but you hit on the one that's my favorite as well, so I totally agree with you. More broadly speaking, what influence would you say that Mr. Buechner has had on Christianity and the world at large?
I think that he has helped many people find freedom in their salvation and in their walk with the Lord, and going back to an earlier point, to have a greater appreciation and realization of the grace of Jesus in their life. And nobody in my mind, except maybe two more people you can name, can do that for readers, and to identify with, where they are personally and spiritually and emotionally and psychologically. And again, I think it goes back to his great honesty with his writing, in sharing his own life over the decades.
I realize this next question is difficult, but if you were to sum up Fred's writing in a few words, what would you say?
Well, I have to go back to that quote that everybody likes, that says, "The place that God calls you to is the place where your deep gladness and the world's hunger meet." I think that he discovered that a long time ago after Union Seminary, and has just amplified on that over the years for so many of us. So he speaks truth because he has that deep gladness and he understands the world's hunger.